What's good? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are finally officially starting the build on the 2022 Summit 850-154, and we are starting to build off with no other than an exhaust from GGB. Of course, you guys know how I like my sleds, my toys, just about everything I own nice and loud, and GGB is going to help us out with that today. This year I am partnered with GGB as a ambassador. I will obviously be running GGB products. I want to give a huge thank you to GGB for supporting me, supporting the dream, and supporting this channel. And they're doing that by providing no other than the mountain can for the Gen 4 850 Summit. What we're gonna do today is a full install of a GGB mountain can on a Gen 4 Skidoo, and then we're gonna do a stock versus can comparison so you guys can hear the difference. We're gonna start this off by opening up the can, and let's see what we got here. So this is it. This is the Gen 4 GGB mountain can for the Skidoo Summit. Now you can get the trail can or the quiet can as well from GGB. I opted for the mountain because I want the most sound. And that looks to be a pigtail adapter for the exhaust sensor if I'm not wrong. And I went ahead and got a actual spring puller. So I was using a spring puller from I don't even know what for the longest time. Don't know where it's at. So I decided to get myself a nice little 10-inch GGB spring puller along with the exhaust. Before we go ahead and tear the sled down to get the GGB exhaust on, we're gonna go ahead and start it up and give you guys a stock sound. But once we get the can on, you guys will be able to hear the difference between stock and the mountain can. Now you guys have heard the sled in its stock form. It is time to make it sound like it should. First step of the install process is to remove the side panels. This is obviously your exhaust side. Done. And then you're also going to have to undo the clutch side because your hood has to come off in order to install the exhaust. Done. Next step is we got to remove the hood. And now on these Skidoos, compared to a Polaris where they are quick release latches, Skidoo uses T20 Torx bits. So you are going to have 1, 2 here underneath your glove box. You're going to have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So a total of 6 T20 bits to remove in order to get the hood off. Along with that, down here, it is going to be extremely hard to see because of the lighting, but there is a band clamp right here with a Phillips head screwdriver. It is the boot for your intake. You're going to want to take a Phillips head screwdriver and undo that screw in order to pull the hood off. If you try to take the hood off without unscrewing this, it simply just will not come off. Next step, once you get the T20s out and the band clamp unscrewed, you are going to want to remove your glove box here. So this one slides right out. Now you're going to come into here underneath your glove box and you are going to have a mess of wiring harnesses you are going to have to unplug. Your dash here, there's 2 clips right here. It slides into on these tracks. All you got to do is push it forward and pull it off. And then to disconnect your dash from your sled, there's just 1 clip right here. Super simple. Pop your dash off, done. And then you're going to want to unclip both your headlights here. So you have 1, 2, and then this connector here is 3. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. After you unclip your harnesses here, there are 2 more T20s right here. These are the final 2 you got to remove, and then you can pull your hood off. All you gotta do basically to get this hood off, once you have all your T20s undone and all your wiring unclipped, is come to the hood and grip about here on each side and just kind of slide the hood forward gently and it will come right off. Now we have the entire exhaust exposed and it is time to get rid of this stock suitcase looking thing and replace it with something a little bit louder and a lot lighter. First step is we gotta remove this heat shield here. So these are just little clips. You pull it from the bottom and they will come right off. And once you do that, you will expose the springs that you need to take off in order to install your new exhaust. You will not be reusing this heat shield on the install of the GGB exhaust, so there's no need for it. My advice would be keep it in case you ever want to put the stock exhaust back on, but no need to put this on with the GGB because it will not fit. Next step here is we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 springs. There is 1 bolt right here holding the can down, and then our O2 sensor. I'm going to be using the 10-inch spring puller from GGB itself. What's nice about this, it is longer so you have more leverage and less of a chance of busting your knuckles up doing this. Just like that, there's 1 spring, and of course I lose it in the engine, great. And we have 1 more right here. And I lost that one too. The bolt back here holding your stock exhaust on, it is a 10mm socket. I'm using a couple different extensions here in order to get it because it is a weird angle. lose your parts like I do. This is your O2 sensor for your exhaust. All you gotta do here is disconnect this clip just like that, and your stock exhaust is out. Not only is this gonna be lighter, but it's gonna sound better, and I cannot wait to get this installed. Before we can go ahead and actually install the GGB exhaust, we do have some prep to do. We have to go ahead and transfer the O2 sensor off the stock exhaust onto the GGB, and then put the pigtail harness extension on here in order to run the O2 sensor. So we're gonna use a 17mm wrench. Oh, jeez. That was way tighter than expected. Just gonna go ahead and thread that guy into here, like so. And take your wrench and snug it down. Next step, we're gonna take the pigtail extension that GGB sent us and go ahead and clip that into our OEM O2 sensor. And that is your sensor right there. Now it is time to actually put the exhaust on the sled. What we're gonna wanna do is line this up with the exhaust hole down there, and then also line this up with where the bolt goes and loosely thread this in just to get a rough idea and make sure it's in the right place. Then we'll worry about the springs. It's down in here. That's gonna line up beautifully. Go ahead and take your spring just like this, bolt through there, lock it in the hole. And yes, with the can, without that big suitcase in the way, this is so much easier to do. You have so much better access. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw the springs on and then tighten this down. And we actually don't need these extensions now because we have so much room to work. So this is your harness plugged into the factory harness on the sled with your extension, and obviously this is going to touch the exhaust, which could burn and be no good. Luckily, GGB sent us zip ties, so we're going to go ahead and use zip ties and tie this up along the coolant hose. I'll give you guys a quick look at how I tied this up so you guys can do this on your sled. So you got your little plastic piece here. What I did was I found an overflow hose here, routed the connector right here, zip tied it at the connector to the overflow hose, ran it behind this black plastic shield, and then zip tied it up here on the actual coolant hose. And then here's your harness going into the sled. And just like that, it is all away from the exhaust. There's no chance it can melt. Now that the exhaust is completely installed, it is time to put the sled back together and start it up and see how it sounds. Putting the sled back together after you take it apart is super simple. It is pretty much the same process you did to take it apart, just reversed. Now there are 4 tabs you want to make sure you line up. One here, one here, one here, and one here. As long as you line those up properly and push the hood forward, you are good to go. So we officially have the GGB mountain can installed on the 850 E-Tech Summit. It is time to give it a start up and see how it sounds. So there you guys have it. GGB mountain can installed on a 850 Summit, and it sounds absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get this thing out on the snow and see how it really sounds under load. One last time, I want to give a huge thanks to GGB Exhaust for sponsoring the channel and believing in me, this channel, and the dream. If you guys liked today's video, smash a huge thumbs up on today's video. Comment section below, let me know what you guys thought of today's video. And like I always say, if you guys are new here or you've been watching for a while and you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?